People made a mistake predicting the winner, and it's so opaque that to me it's a sign of incompetence try to predict the winner, and you got to go 50-50. Same thing here, and the same people who last time gave a certain candidate 5%, 1%, 10%, 15% are making the same mistake by predicting again. You have to treat it as an opaque system. We don't know what's going to happen. And it's going to be therefore one or the other, 50-50. And then when it happens, we'll deal with it. The second point and the second mistake, the last time people made the association between a result, say Trump, and stock market. A lot of people said, oh, if we have President Trump, the stock market's going to collapse. And exactly the opposite happened. Now, the very same people are also making speculation on what would happen to the market if either candidate wins. I think that this is a sort of like case study of government worldwide incompetence in dealing with the problem and denial. So we have, and we don't know what's going to happen. Imagine this continuing till January, February, March, because, you know, in the winter people are inside, so contagion rates are higher. So think about what can happen then. So you gotta, it's not that rosy. Now, what impacts on the market? It's weird because the market, the S&P 500 that I see now on the screen, seems to represent technology more than anything else. And technology has been a winner. A lot of jobs have been created by COVID. People forget that. Maybe not, in every discipline or in every sector, but a lot of jobs have been created by COVID. And if you see a rise in employment or a decline in unemployment, it's not from Delta Airlines or American Airlines hiring flight attendants or hiring back flight attendants. It's from technology companies and people who have adapted or making money from COVID, benefiting from it and hiring a lot of people. How will the economy recover from here? You would not go back to pre-COVID because we have had changes in the structure, economic structure, that are permanent. I mean, you have companies that were harmed by COVID temporarily, like or people like barbers. I don't have a lot of hair, but I would always need a barber, dentist, and stuff. They will come back. Tourism probably will come back. Business travel will not be the same. Real estate in places like New York City, it is never going to be the same. Retail is never going to be the same. You actually had consumer switch and behavioral switch into different directions, namely remote work, remote meetings, and stuff like that. So you had to think in terms of an economy that's vastly different from the one we had before. And we've had the internet now for 2.5 decades. We've been talking about it for 2.5 decades, but it looks like this is the big impact from the internet. I'm seeing a lot of denial in social life everywhere about this virus. From the beginning, now we're 10 months into this virus, and people are still hoping for a vaccine, something that would cancel it. And they go like 1 month at a time, it's going to be over. It's the same for governments. Don't realize that this kind of denial is what's causing us to incur such a high cost in GDP and many things, and it's even social life and everything, high cost. 10 months into the pandemic, we still do not have systematic testing. When you board a plane, when you go to when you go to a restaurant or something, if we had instant systematic testing, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be talking now about the pandemic. That's a big problem, a very big problem. That we think we still spend trillions of dollars worldwide on nuclear weapons, and when the risk is the virus and the solutions are not that complicated. I cannot talk returns, but we can talk about, this is Universa's tail risk hedging program. The nature of the product is to provide tail risk hedging to prevent people from being stopped out in the market, having to exit when you have trouble and make money. It's like sort of like insurance. But the program, the way we view it, is not just a hedging program. It is an alpha generating. It's a hedge fund on its own. That's a little more than a decade, as the last iteration of the program has done phenomenally well. We can control the pandemic with very simple methods rather than go for high tech like a vaccine, which with a lot of unpredictability, with better treatment, with a lot of unpredictability. We can do all these things. We can focus immediately on the simplest solution and the least economic the one with the smallest economic cost. Testing would be the ideal solution. Why 10 months into the pandemic, we still do not have systematic testing? Not just, I'm talking United States, Europe. I've been boarding planes and nobody's tested. I'm paranoid, of course, with 2 masks. So this is my point. And testing is not for you and I to enjoy life. Testing is to lower the rate of transmission of the pandemic. And progressively, it will, weed out the people who have it, and the contagion, rate would go down. That's the idea of testing, not now the uncertainty, economic uncertainty we have from here. I think there's a point where we're vastly worse off than before the pandemic, that they've discovered the printing press. And discovering the printing press, you see what's happening. We still have some deflation forces in some sectors, but that printing, nobody in history in financial history has printed with impunity. Individuals should not be in the market if they are scared. That's our idea, is that you should not be a hoper. You should be there with money you're willing to lose. And you should realize that you have more uncertainty ahead than you think. The returns can be a lot better or a lot worse than you think. And the tendency of people to underestimate that uncertainty is chronic, just like the inability of people to understand that the forecasting in elections is extremely poor. They don't realize that they keep doing the same thing. Uncertainty, underestimation of risk is chronic in human nature.